Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mark Hurl. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Mainline Unitarian Church. Welcome. It's great to have you with us. Our worship team today includes our interim senior minister, Reverend David Messner, our director of Lifespan Faith Development, Dawn Starr Cyrus-Borschelt, our worship associate, Tracy Simpson, and in all probability, the music today is Schrodinger's Cats. We are Unitarian Universalists, gathering in a loving community of faith to support one another as we search for meaning and purpose, working together to bring compassion, equity, and responsible stewardship to the world we share. We affirm religious freedom and celebrate diversity, as all are inherently worthy and dignified. Whoever you are, whoever you love, whatever your journey or personal circumstance, you're welcome here. A special warm greeting to those who are visiting us today. Please join us after the service for coffee and tea in the fireside room across the hall. Now, if you would silence your cell phones while I remind you of the announcements found in the order of service on the screen outside the main meeting room and at our website, or you can also receive information through our electronic mailings or at the welcome table in the atrium. One announcement I want to bring note to. Today, right after the service at 11:30 in the McGinnis Room, is an award-winning film, Al-Helm, Martin Luther King in Palestine. This centers on the interaction between a black gospel choir and the Palestinian National Theater. And to confirm, lunch is included. And now for the minister's minute.
I have just a couple of things I want to share with you and reinforce. One is there is a lot happening today. So I am so excited you are all here in church. I encourage you to join James Ramsbottom and for the film on Palestine with lunch. I encourage you to join UU 101, which is if you're new to this church, come for a welcome. Saying it's in the Greeley is insensitive to the fact that you're new to this church. And I will say, just outside the door, the ushers will help you get there for an introductory meeting with Madeline, our head of membership. This afternoon, we have a recital here at 3 p.m. This is a free recital? What, are we crazy? Come on now. Come on now. You've got to come at 3 p.m. We have George Spengelmeyer here on guitar, which is extraordinary. At 3 p.m., as an alternative to beautiful music, we have a reproductive justice book discussion, again in Greeley, or you can zoom in. So here are 4 great opportunities after church to extend the meaning and impact of your church day. I encourage you to do it, a chance not only to learn something, to get fed, but to meet some new people. The other thing I want to do today, I want to invite Kaylee Maniak up. Kaylee, are you here? That's it. Kaylee, you can stand in the pulpit. I want to welcome Kaylee to our Mainline Unitarian Church staff team as our new lead in communications. Woo! We've been waiting for someone to communicate for us for a long time. Finally, someone who will make some sense. I have a story. Is Pat Jordan here? I'm telling a story on Pat because she was talking about I had a small group ministry, a small group, and I was leading it. And she was saying a word to praise Margot. Margot took over leading it for me after the year, and she said, "Oh my gosh, it's so great to have Margot." And she just looked at me, she said, "The minister is so hard to follow." And she said it with such warmth that I was like, yes, he is, but don't hurt his feelings because he's a person too. It was praise for Margot, and then I figured it out. It's like, oh, the ministers are a hard act to follow. So, Kaylee, you only have a minute, But as head of communications, what do you have to communicate to us? I mean...
You know, I wasn't really prepared for this. I just want to make note. But yeah, my name's Kaylee. I'm really excited to be here, really excited to amplify all of the really good things I've seen at this church already, and really excited to be part of the community. So thank you guys for having me.
Welcome, Kaylee. Now, the last thing I want to pitch is sex ed. I've had 18 months to observe here, and I need to say a number of you need to sign up for Adult OWL. No, wait, that's not the way I wanted to sell that. One of the distinctives of our church has long been our whole lives education for our young people. Particularly, we focus on it sort of in the 5th grade, sort of in the middle school years as people enter high school. And it is something, again and again, people say to me, this church made a difference in my life because when I was entering adolescence, it gave me straightforward information about my body, my health, my sexuality, my identity, and did it in a safe and caring way. Our whole lives exists for adults as well. And I am struck at how few places there are that do those same important things for us when we're grown up, that program does when we're 13. And those questions of self and relationship and right relationship become more and more important through our lifetimes. Yasara and Carrie are leading the Our Whole Lives program for adults. That's Carrie Nielsen right here in the 4th row in her usual seat. And I think they have, this is a cohort that will join together for 7 sessions. I think it's 7 sessions. And I think there are 3 or 4 spots left to join this group and do this important work together. I really encourage you to get, Carrie, can they talk to you directly after the service to sign up? Right, that's Carrie, Dr. Nielsen, excuse me. And I really encourage 4 more people to join that because I would like this to be one of the distinctives of creating and nurturing healthy people and healthy relationships. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to my colleague.
Thank you. If you would all join me in giving voice to our mission. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
I'd like to welcome forward Frank and Barbara Weber. Today, Frank will be reading his original chalice lighting. You'll find it page number 6 in your future MLUC worship guide.
Page 6 is pretty good, I hear. Thank you. Nice placement. In the darkness, we stand alone with stagnant thoughts. But when we sense the distant light, when we grab our flint and tinder and create a small flame of our own, when we add this emerging flame to help light our UU chalice, we begin to identify others, discover new ideas, and boldly move toward community. Then our chalice lights the world.
Don't lose your head, then lose your guy, 'cause you can't lose a broken heart. If you ever break up, then try to make up. It's tough to make a brand new start. Take a walk, think it over while strolling neath the moon. Don't say things in December you may regret in June. Beware your remarks before you speak, or you may be sorry soon. Don't be erratic, be diplomatic to keep your hearts in tune. Cruel, harsh words rashly spoken may upset the apple cart. So don't lose your head, then lose your guide, 'cause you can't lose a broken heart. Now don't lose your head, then lose your guide, 'cause you can lose a broken heart. If you ever break up, then try to make up. It's tough to make a brand new start. Take a walk, think it over while strolling 'neath the moon. Don't say things in December you may regret in June. Beware your remarks before you speak, or you may be sorry soon. Don't be erratic, be diplomatic to keep your hearts in tune. Cruel, harsh words rashly spoken may upset the apple cart. So don't lose your head, then lose your guide, 'cause you can lose a broken heart. Don't lose your head, then lose your guide, 'cause you can't lose a broken heart.
So now that I have completed my 6th whole month here with all of you, I wanted to share some observations. The mission of this church is to transform lives together. And in the time that I have been here, I have seen transformation after transformation. People who come through the doors not expecting the warm welcome that they've received. People who have found a place to serve the causes they're passionate about. People who have found a place where who they are and who they love are not just accepted, but embraced. Now, are we perfect at welcoming? At serving, at accepting, embracing, and loving? No, of course not. We are but human beings, imperfect, and yet still wonderful. The victory isn't in doing all things flawlessly, but in doing all you attempt in love. And that is what I have found here. Now is the time to allow your own life to be transformed, even just a little bit, just for an hour or two. So come, let us worship together. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing one of my personal favorites, a real banger, My Life Flows On in Endless Song.
Do you have something that you really love? This is our last Sunday of our love theme month. And so today, I thought it would be fun to think about some of those things that are really important to us that we really love, but not like our mom. Or, you know, but something a little less viscerally important, but that we still really love. And so I'll share with you the thing that I really love is reading. I started reading pretty much all by myself when I was 5 because my brain did that without anybody putting any effort into it. Just have a weird brain. And I've never stopped reading since. But the last time we moved 42 boxes of books. And at that point I decided that when I got new books I had to get them on an e-reader. So now a lot of my books are right here. And I do read serious and important things. I actually went to a college where I just read and talked about books for 4 years, and they were all important and serious. But I also really love genre fiction, like mysteries and romance and fantasy and science fiction. And lately I've been reading a lot of urban fantasy. And let me tell you, there's a lot of really bad urban fantasy out there. But I've found some good ones too. So that's the thing that I really love. But I invited some other people to bring things they really love up. So if you are a kid who brought something you really love that you want to show us, now is the time to bring it up. So hold up your thing that you love, and if you want to say a word about it, you can. But I think some of them probably don't want to say words. So we have some stuffed animals. You want to turn around and show it to people? What is this? His brother, that is a very good thing to love. Very important. And we've got more stuffed animals. We've got a feather. Is that from your chicken? Did you bring the feather instead of the chicken? Okay, cool. But here we have an actual guinea pig who I got to hold earlier. And let's see, I'm not missing it. So what do we have? We have, the bunny, yes. I was seeing you playing with the other thing and I was like, what's that? Alex, you have a transformer? No, what is it? A Roblox spinner. Okay, see, I'm ignorant. Okay, that is so cool. What do you have? You have a lamb at the farm where you and your sister spend a lot of time? Yeah. You have?
A Lego police truck.
Awesome.
A Lego robot.
A Lego robot. And you, are you going to do a backflip or something? No? Okay. And can you? Can you go ahead and do it? Okay. Do you have enough room? Yeah, go right ahead. Right now. Awesome. Woo! And then you have pictures, you have coloring. You really love coloring? That's awesome. Thank you all very much for coming up and showing us the things that I did. I said you have a stuffed animal, right? This is the stuffed animal section. So it's really important to pay attention to the things that we love that make our hearts happy and make us feel more human and feel more connected to things and people. And that's what worship is for, is to pay attention to the things that are really important. So thank you for helping us pay attention to what's really important today. And I invite the children and youth to go to their classes now. Some of you are going to have a chance to talk more about the stuff you brought, and others of you will be doing other things. Yeah, tell me.
Biscuit.
Hello, Biscuit.
Awesome.
Does this guy have a name?
Puppy.
Good morning. Each month, we donate half our weekly collection to a worthy organization in need. The recipient of February's offering outreach is the Timothy School. The Timothy School, located in Berwyn, was founded in 1966. That's the year I was born. The Timothy School is a nonprofit organization with the mission to provide students with autism spectrum disorder with the communication, social, cognitive, and life skills necessary to enable them to function as effectively and independently as possible in the least restrictive environment. They also work toward increasing community awareness, acceptance, and support of individuals with autism. Donation from the February offering outreach will go toward a new program being offered this year to help young adults with autism and their families stay connected to each other and to the larger community once they have graduated from the school. The program will help combat social isolation by providing opportunities to connect with each other and the community through a series of regular events, activities, and outings. To make a cashless donation, either here in the sanctuary or watching remotely, you can follow the instructions on the screen, or you can use your phone on the back of the order of service to take a picture of this QR code. It will take you directly to the website. The offering will now be greatly received. Will the ushers please come forward? What is given in love is received with gratitude.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
It is our custom to share our personal joys and sorrows, expecting to be heard, accepted, and supported. Candles of Community is our ritual of personal sharing and support. After each candle is lit, please join me in saying, we hold you in our hearts. Today we light a candle of love and sadness for Betsy McElwain's Aunt Mary, who died on February 14th. This was a fitting date because no one's heart was bigger than Mary's. Mary was so well loved and so well known that mail simply addressed to Aunt Mary, Lukens Avenue, Willow Grove, PA, would be successfully delivered. Betsy also asked that you hold her younger sister Nancy in your hearts also, as she begins an arduous battle against a malignant brain tumor. For Mary, Nancy, Betsy, and their families, we hold you in our hearts. And we light a candle for support for Ann Bear Clark as she works to support the health of her family. For Ann and her family, we hold you in our hearts. And for joys and sorrows too deep for words, we light a candle. Amen. So the reading I have for you today is called A House for Our Dreams and was written by Dory J. Summers. But first I'd like to share with you a brief note from the Soul Matters packet on love from this month's small group ministry. To love a person is to learn the song in their heart and to sing it to them when they have forgotten. Anne Garberg. Sorry. I'm thinking about my dad. Okay, the reading will be followed by a moment of silence. We, all of us, build houses for our dreams. The masonry and the lumber, the glass and the tiles, a solid form wherein we see our hopes, a shelter and protection for our growth. This house shall be a dwelling place for courage, for integrity, for love, engendered, nourished by a family that speaks of we and means all humankind. These walls shall represent the privacy and the dignity of individuals, the open doors, a welcome to all people, all ages and all generations. The windows shall keep light of inquiry illuminating from outside and within. May all words spoken here be born of love, and energy rekindle in the hearts of those who dreamed this house, who plied these tools, and who paid the price to actualize the dream. May dreaming never cease for those within who know the world to be a troubled place, but dare to struggle with imperfectness toward that brighter hope and that better day. Let memories add warmth, a heritage, a quilted patchwork stitched with history, of kindness, of daring for the good, of funny moments, jokes and smiles and tears. This is a precious place, as every home that shelters those who love and strive and share. Its blessing is in lives that meet within, in living, learning, caring. They are sheltered here. Please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Excuse us while we get a little raucous. Rainy night, I'm all alone, sitting here waiting for your voice on the phone. turns to cold, cold sweat, thinking about things we ain't done yet. Tell me now, you tell me you feel the same. You just light up at the mention of my name. Don't worry, baby, ain't nothing new. That's just love sleeping up on you. Yeah, whole world's shaking, babe, and you feel like I do. That's just love sneaking up on you. Yeah. Nowhere on earth for your heart to hide. Once love comes sneaking on your blind side, and you might as well try to stop the rain. Stand in the track of a runaway train. Just can't fight it when a feeling is meant to be. Come on, let's finish what you started with me. Don't worry, babe, ain't nothing new. That's just love sneaking up on you. Whole world is shaking, babe, I feel like I do. That's just love sneaking up on you. Now don't worry, babe, ain't nothing new. That's just love sneaking up on you. Yeah, a whole world shaking, babe, feel like I do. That's just love sneaking up on you. Yeah, now don't worry, babe, ain't nothing new. That's just love sneaking up on you. Yeah, your whole world is shaking, feel like I do. That's just love sneaking up on you.
That makes me so happy. As we end our month on love, which I was sad to hear, we only have this little bit of time to get all the love in. I'm so grateful to have Schrodinger's cats closing the day for us. It's a real gift. It's a real gift this morning, too, having children come up here and share things that they love, right? I almost want to see all of you come up here and share a thing that you love. Some of you have, I think, holding your instruments. I love seeing, it's our board of trustees, it's our program leaders, it's all kinds of people holding those instruments. Seeing Wolfgang on piano, I said, who's playing piano today? I said, Wolfgang's playing piano? How is that possible? Wolfgang's a chef. It's an extraordinary place. I pause in the middle of worship because this is the character of our worship. And occasionally, a service like this strikes me that we've achieved what we want. Today, I saw Frank and Barbara up here with original words, and all of the people creating the service are us. A lot of players today, and it's all us. Things that we love. I almost stopped them, and I thought it would have been perfect to ask the children to donate their beloved item to the church. But it's not stewardship season yet, so I didn't. I feel blessed to be with you all. This is what I love. Well, let me talk a little bit about this problem of love. As many of you know, because I talk about it, I used to travel a lot for business. It was one of my great loves in business. It meant access to all kinds of worldly food, all kinds of extraordinary people. It was the heart of adventure to me. It also meant spending a lot of time in airports, really a lot of time navigating through airports. I spend my time now with these dual, what I think are actually spiritual questions, though I'll pose them in a superficial way. One, which is, what am I missing if I'm spending all my time sitting around here in Devon, Pennsylvania? Shouldn't I go to the airport, get on a plane, and find what there is to discover? And so the question becomes, what is there out in the world that is not present here? The second question, which sort of competes with it in this paradox, is what is there right here, despite the fact that I spend 24 hours a day on this property, and I do, that I have yet to discover? That's the irony of it. 18 months, 20 months, how long have I been sitting on this property? The Troll of Devon. I sit right here watching. What have I yet to discover here that I might be distracted from if I am always rushing to catch a plane? That's the paradoxical pair of questions from these two phases of my life. Traveling to discover, sitting still, perhaps to discover in a different way. Now, I remember in that maybe 10 or 15 years that I spent traveling for sport and vocation, that one of the perks of it, of doing it frequently, I mean every Monday morning, was the increasing relative ease of moving through those airports. In some cases, that was the main reason to travel, because the more you travel, the easier it gets. And that happens through a few mechanisms. One of them is the cultivation of the airport eye and airport excellence. You know how to move through things, just like in the food store. If you're a really professional shopper, you know which line not to get in. You see the moms with the kids and the candy, and that's complication. No offense. You say, that's going to be slow. There's some complication there. You see the new bagger. Bless them, so glad they got the job. That's going to take extra time. You have to know how to choose your aisle. If you go to the grocery store, you get good at that. You go to the airport every Monday, you get good at that. Once I was in International, I was at Kennedy Airport in the International section, and I was right behind a family that was dressed in traditional garb that suggested they were about to return to Saudi Arabia. They were in abayas and vaishayas, and nobody would get in line behind this large extended family returning to Saudi Arabia. Now, this could be, you think about it, sort of misplaced Islamophobia, or it could be factual knowledge of what was going on procedurally with an ever more nervous and poorly trained set of TSA agents who themselves perpetually seemed to be in their first day. It's wonderful. If I have TSA agents who are good members, I bless you. That is, some jobs are hard. People don't appreciate how hard these jobs are. It's hard to be a minister, hard to be a TSA agent. I got it. But still, nonetheless, some lines move faster than other lines. Now, sometimes it's not about judgment. It's not about skills. It's about the power you show up with in the first place, right? Sometimes we talk about that as privilege. Now, nowadays, the government has taken up the business of distributing privilege more formally. We can talk to you about global TSA pre-check and something called the clearness machines, or something that happened. There's a number of systems. I belong to all of them, but that's another story. I'm also old school. Back in the day, it was the airline who was in the business of economically sorting us, and they would distribute, various coupons and cards to you that would confer privileges. And I need to confess to you, the other day I did a workshop talk for the lunch, and I was going through the power and privilege of our wallets. I didn't take out my passport wallet, in which I still carry a thing that is called a fast-track pass for immigration control at Gatwick Airport in London. I still carry this. Now, I have not been to Gatwick Airport in London, but you don't know if I'm not going to be in England today. And if I do, I don't want to be the schnook without the fast pass card, because this makes the difference. Now, when you fly to England, and it's often a flight, which means you're getting in rather early in the morning, and you have the choice to spend 2 hours in line, or you could be eating breakfast back in London. That's it. It's the suckers and the people who get breakfast in London. Once you know the privilege of unimpeded movement in Gatwick Airport, you never want to go back. Let me say this more broadly. Once in life you know the privilege of unimpeded movement, you never want to go back. You never want to go back. Such is the nature of privilege in the world. Now, I always thought about it, and I thought about it a lot when I've been standing in the slow lanes in the airport and in my life, when you can show them the card, in your pocket, and it says, I've got no time for the nonsense. I've got breakfast waiting for me. A full English breakfast, that's a wonderful thing. I've got no time for the nonsense. And this has been, I think, one of the learnings of my life as I've gotten older, is how not to let ourselves be dragged down by nonsense in the world. That's much of the project of living. Some of that is a matter of privilege. Some of that is a matter of wisdom. Some of that is a matter of maturity to make some choices differently. These things kind of work together. To not be delayed by the nonsense. I mean this in practical ways. I mean this in spiritual ways. That's it. So let me emphasize the spiritual good of going forth on the fast track. Our spirits don't want to be delayed and distracted by the more mundane parts of daily living. I don't mean that to suggest that we don't need to get dressed in the morning. I don't mean to suggest that we don't need to earn a living. I don't mean to suggest that we don't need to drive to work even sometimes. But I mean to suggest that these as sources of burden, delay, and distracted focus are that which erode the spiritual quality of our lives. Our spirits do not want to be tied up in the misguided bureaucracy of others that is in no way designed to our interests. This is something of the justice work we have. And yes, I'm talking from the I standpoint, that we may connect with our own frustration to be put in the slow line, such that we might have some empathic leg up on understanding why we're trying to restructure a world in which no one is put into the slow line for lack of a card in their pocket. Right? We do not deserve the delay. Our spirits do not want to be delayed, nor, in some ways, poisoned by those who would have us serve their own ends. It is right to use every resource at our disposal to pursue lives of meaning. It is right, therefore, also to use every resource at our disposal to allow other people to pursue lives of meaning. So thinking of how we are able to dismantle, when we talk about dismantling oppression, I'm coming back to our 8th principle now. We changed the banner. But the 8th principle had to do with dismantling systems of oppression, and systems of oppression are all about impediments, selective impediments. And we're so often attuned to systems which distribute the card for the privilege of moving fast. We rarely turn it on its head and say, what is the system that instead is distributing the impediments in the first place? That I might need a card. That's the question we have before us. How do we remove the impediments in our own lives such that we're able to move toward the spiritual goods in front of us? And how, understanding our own encounter of those impediments, may we use that knowledge and our own power, especially us card carriers, to remove the impediments in front of other people, that they may flourish as well. This is our kind of collective church project. And so what I want us to do is to think about the cards in our pocket and be able to hold up in this sort of fast-track spirit and say to people, do not hinder me. Say to the face of those things that get in the way, do not hinder me because you want to sell me something. Do not hinder me because you want to steal my labor or extract my earnings. Do not hinder me because you want to take advantage of my body. Do not hinder me because you have chosen to elevate base things over things of the Spirit. That is what it means, I think, in some way, to be in church and to choose a transgressive lifestyle that aggressively focuses on that which is important and pushes other things aside. And so I encourage you to learn that phrase. Do not hinder me in my journey because I have worthy places to go. I have breakfast waiting for me. I have people expecting me. I have music to make. I have children to teach. I have a church to lead. I have a ministry in the world. Do not hinder me. And these people are with me. We have, I believe, good places to go ahead of us. We cannot afford to be distracted. And I believe, my friends, the hour is already late. The hour is already late, and if we find ourselves standing in line at the airport, we will be lost. Now, I was in a group not long ago, a small group, talking about death, and we were talking about the comforting teaching of heaven being a better place, which I always envisioned something like the first class club at the airport, right? At Heathrow, if you go to the first class lounge, that's heaven. So something like the celestial shore we can't wait to get to. Well, if heaven is a better place, then I want to fast track my life as much as I can. Why do I want to waste my time with living if heaven is something extraordinary, if it's the ultimate first class lounge? But you know that can't be right. So here is the other Unitarian turn. Why would we be in this place if what we're called to do is to rush through the line at the airport and get on a plane to discover the other better place? I want to suggest today that there is not an other better place. That indeed, with the questions I opened with that seem like paradox, it ought to creep in our mind that the good is right here somehow. And the impediments that we need to remove, the fast track we need to find, is to somehow here go deeper. To somehow here do what I tried to do in the middle of this service, which is pause everything. Don't worry, it's not the sermon we're rushing to get to. It's the deeper good we're trying to see right where we are. Maybe the real work is not to get into the fastest line, but to notice who's in the line with us, right? Maybe the whole point was to make friends with a Saudi family who perhaps themselves was just wishing they stayed the heck home and discovered JFK Airport some other time. Maybe the point is when we do find our way into the first class lounge, and I'm not speaking against the first class lounge, maybe the point is to find a way to smuggle a friend in. Or maybe to smuggle snacks out for people in the cheap seats, right? Maybe the project is not to spend our time shouting at the gatekeepers, but give up on the idea of gates altogether and craft something new with one another. So, my friends, do not hinder yourself. Let us not be hindered. We have worthy places to go, and many of them are right here, yet to be discovered. You will not be traveling alone. You will not be left behind, no matter the speed at which you move. Have faith anew in love and possibility, and let us go together. Amen. Let's sing something together. Excuse my voice. Wolfgang, what are you going to play us into? Number 6. Just as long as I have breath. I invite you to take a hand, bump a fist, touch a shoulder, stand on the foot of someone next to you. As you go from this place, may you be blessed. May you be blessed by the arrival at unexpected and yet unimagined destinations. May some of them involve travel, and may some of them involve only your heart. May you be blessed by a life filled with yeses in all the right places. May you be blessed by love, my friends. Amen. Go in peace.
Michael? Joe's mic.
Check. Test.
I've been cheated, been mistreated. When will I be loved? I've been put down, I've been pushed down. When will I be loved? When I find a new man that I long for mine, always brings my heart into happens every time. I've been made blue, I've been lied to. When will I
Yeah.